So people keep asking, what's the secret to maintenance? I've been losing weight. I'm ready to go into maintenance, or maybe you already are in maintenance. What's the big secret? How am I going to do this forever? First of all, congratulations if you're even watching this video, because that means you are in maintenance or about to be. Congratulations, you've done what most people just read about or watch videos about. They never really do. Congrats. Seriously, that's awesome. Now, here's the secret. Maintenance is nothing. You've been doing the heavy lifting. You've done the hardest part. If you've beaten your plateau days, if you have beaten your stubborn fat, if you have beaten your body's resistance, and you have gone through and seen yourself digest however much fat you have, you've already won the battle. It's just a matter of understanding and not thinking about it. That's the big secret. I just gave it to you, not thinking about it. It's just like your body. When you start to think about something going on with a body part, odds are there's something wrong. When you're not thinking about it, when it's just your arm is just your arm, or your eye or ear is just your ear, whatever body part it is, then it probably works good. But if you're thinking about it, that means that there's something wrong. You shouldn't be thinking about it. It should just be happening. Maintenance is like that too. Maintenance is a little harder than breathing, which is to say it is zero hard, since you've already done everything you've already done. Now it's just a matter of falling back on pattern. You should always fall back on pattern. Now this is where people sometimes get into trouble, because they haven't lost enough weight. They didn't have that much to lose from the start, so they never got a chance to set really good patterns. If you're coming from 300, 400 pounds, you're going to never be big again, because you don't want to gain that back. And no, despite what you hear on TV and gossip columns and all this, you don't really, and if you're big, you don't really gain the weight back. Not unless you're a celebrity and people are following you, the Oprahs and the Subway Jareds. There are exceptions. As long as you never start eating out of boredom, you don't drink too much, or preferably not at all, you don't start eating to compensate for weaknesses, and you have a cycle in place, preferably also activity, you're not going to gain the weight back. But here's a cheat sheet. If you just fast 2 days every week for the rest of your life, you'll be fine. Maybe for some people 3 days, and eat like you want the rest of the other 4, you'll be fine. And you should be fine, and you should do what I'm saying here and not think about this. Go and do the same thing you've been doing. Add in exercise if you want to. Add in weightlifting or basketball or volleyball or whatever, running, whatever it is you choose to spend your time doing. Advance yourself, augment yourself. Experiment with your foods and with your life patterns. When you get up, what time you eat. Keep eating once a day, but don't worry about the old rules that you started with. Don't worry about putting 2 splurge days back to back. Don't worry about stuff like that. That's very elementary. Tip, if you're at this point and you don't have a little rebel in you, I kind of pity you, because you haven't learned very much. Don't be afraid to buck the system. Don't be afraid to make waves. Your body, if anything, you know now, your body is tough, and your body will not die just for something silly. It's going to keep going. You're going to be way ahead of yourself in terms of self-betterment. You've already improved. Now all it is a matter of is recognizing that you're afraid and you shouldn't be. So let me quell your fears. There's nothing to be afraid of. Start listening to your body. Start going back to the way you were when you were a child and you played real hard, you got hungry, you had a bigger meal, and in the days when you didn't play as hard, you didn't eat as much. You're right back there. You are right back to where you were as a child. You've reset your body and you're in control again. That's a lot to get excited about. But again, don't think about it. Pass it by. And if you're still thinking about it, that's okay. You may not be where you want to be yet. You're still in that journey. By the way, final footnote in this quick video today, you will always self-improve. The big secret of maintenance is this. Maintenance is nothing. Maintenance never begins and it never ends. It's just another phase of evolution in your progress. Whereas you were losing weight, now you're maintaining weight, which should include building muscle maybe a little bit if that's what you want, or toning up, or enhancing your athletic abilities if that's your goal, enhancing your overall health, maybe changing up your eating preferences, your eating foods. There is no right or wrong. You've seen that on OMAD by now. There is no right or wrong. It's all about you. So I do recommend one thing. Keep intermittent fasting as a weekly part of your life. If you just do 2 days, 3 days, that's fine. If you just do one day, that's fine. The reason I say that is if you ever find yourself gaining weight again, you will do just like a thermostat cutting on when it gets too warm in a room. Your body will just cycle back into your fasting routine. The weight will come off. And when you start to gain a little, we all do, you'll do the same thing, and you will have that beautiful ebb and flow that I talked about in the last video as far as the rhythm of your body. You're going to find that your body has not only a new set point once you've been at maintenance for a while, but it stays there so very easily, and you'll find yourself probably like me having to eat a lot more than I want to because I have to make sure I get my calories enough to handle my level of activity. So now is the time of experimentation. This is the time to get excited about, whereas everybody in the nutrition world seems to say aerobic maintenance is miserable because it's hardest. No, it's not hard at all. It's super easy. All you've got to do is remember that you've done it, remember to have faith in yourself, and understand that now is, like any phase in life, is only important when it fits. You're going to go through another phase in life where you think about something else, but you'll always have your fasting as part of your regimen, as part of your daily survival. And if you haven't done it, if you haven't fasted for very long, if you haven't lost enough weight to really hammer that in and make that your pattern, it'll probably be a little harder for you. But just remember, it's always wrong to not have a system in place that regulates your eating. Fasting is the easiest for quite a few people. So if you have come this far, again, congratulations. You have absolutely owned it in terms of self-betterment, but it never ends. So tackle better horizons, go on and accomplish greater things and think about other things. And the less you think about it, the more successful you will be, because that's a mark of successful people. They don't talk about it as much. They go out of their way and just do it, and they live their lives. So I do hope this has been helpful to you. Remember to trust yourself. Remember to experiment. And just remember one other thing. The only other scary thing in this video, if you go back to those old habits, you'll get the same results you got. If you go back to eating when you're bored, if you go back to hitting the clubs and drinking, if that's what you do, if you go back to getting depressed and eating, if you go back to neurotic, crazy habits, all of those problems that you had will return, and they'll return with the same vigor and force that they once had. If you drop fasting altogether, which I'm saying you shouldn't do, then you will have all of the problems that you once had. Insanity. The definition of insanity is expecting to get different results doing the same thing. That's insane. You're going to get the same thing that you put in. So that's the big thing. It doesn't matter. Someone says, well, should I keep eating one meal? Here's the thing. My meals are so varied now that it's crazy. Most days a week I still eat one meal, usually in the morning these days, but sometimes that changes. Sometimes I eat my meal in the evening. Sometimes I eat a larger meal, and some days a week, about 8 to 10 days of the week, I just graze all day. There's not a right or a wrong. You don't want to be stuck in elementary rule number 1, rule number 2. That's for when you started. Now you're on your own and you're in the driver's seat. There is no driving instructor sitting next to you telling you exactly, checking off things that you did. You're ready to run your own show. So get out there and do it. Get out there and make good on everything you've done. It's going to be so easy. You're going to rewatch this maybe in a year, or you're going to think back to it and you're going to say, I can't believe I was ever even nervous about it. So good luck on that. And once again, congratulations.